Hey everybody, how's it going? Wanted to make a quick little video today, kind of give you my thoughts and what I went through getting the eBay headers installed on my e46 M3. When I bought the car, originally I got it from a high-end dealer in the Sacramento, Northern California area. And when I got it home, I realized it had headers on it, which, cool, I knew it was louder than it should be. But when it came time to smog it, I was running into problems because it was missing the heat shields, and it was pretty obvious. There was no codes thrown because they had I don't know if you're too familiar with it, but they had defowlers on the rear, the downstream O2 sensors. So, anyways, I took the headers off, put the stock exhaust back on, stock cats, and once I did that, the car was just way more sluggish. Didn't seem to have that top end snap that it used to have before. So recently I decided to put some headers back on it, and I went on eBay and I looked, and unfortunately, for these cars, there's not a lot of in between. There's either $1,400, $1,000, $1,400 headers, or there's the eBay, $100 to $200 headers. So I went ahead and I purchased a set, and the first bit of advice I will give you is do not buy the Manzo headers. I have a set here that I got from a seller on eBay, Manzo. They were $120 something shipped. I had actually bought a set before this, went to bolt them up, they didn't fit. They didn't bolt up, the flanges didn't bolt up to the motor. They were just way too far off. So I sent him back, and he sent me a replacement set, because on some of the forums I read, well, it's hit or miss, some fit, some don't. Well, these ones fit on the motor, but once I got them all wrapped and bolted down, I realized that the rear O2 sensor bungs that are welded into the exhaust were straight up and down, almost just perfectly straight up and down, and they hit the body. There was absolutely no way to put the O2 sensors in there. So what we did on these ones, you probably can't see it, but I cut the pipe here, and we actually rotated it, and then we cut the two bungs out and rotated those, and then TIG welded them all back together because they are stainless steel. Got them to bolt up, the sensors to fit, but then we had some issues with the collector fitting to the mid pipe, so I just said forget it at that point. Took them back off, and then I went and did some research on eBay, and I found another seller that had some pictures posted, and I could see in their pictures that they were a totally different style aftermarket headers. If I can find the link or the seller that I bought them from, I'll go ahead and post it for you. But I could tell by looking at them in the pictures, they had actual pictures of the headers, that everything was welded correctly. So I just took the chance that the flanges were actually in the right spot. And what was nice was the ones I got actually had, you can see here, these ones have probably over 1/4 of an inch thick flange. And so your factory studs that go into the heads are actually almost too short. I mean, you can make them work. I was able to back them out of the head a little bit, but the other set I bought actually had more thin recessed hole in them, and I think I paid cheaper for those. I think they were like $119. So long story short, I wrapped them up with a titanium header wrap, which makes a huge difference, by the way, in the raspiness and the drivability. The headers are a lot louder, but if you do wrap them, it kind of keeps some of that rasp out of your car while you're driving. It makes it a lot more drivable. So yeah, the new ones fit perfect, bolted right on, no problems whatsoever. Collector went on. So I guess, it is true what they say, hit or miss on the brands, but if I could give you any advice, don't buy the Manzo headers. They do not fit. They're horrible. 2 sets I got, one of them was welded together wrong. The other ones, the pipes weren't even correct to fit on the motor. So if I can find the link to the other brand, I will, but it was, pretty simple. And I do have a video that I'm gonna post for the install and the how-tos. I got them all on there nicely. Heat shields fit back, everything's perfect. You can't even really see them from underneath or on top of the car. And I'm not getting any, that's another point. The second set I bought actually had longer, for the downstream O2 sensors, it actually had more threads where they threaded into the headers. So yet I haven't got any 420 codes for the catalytic converters, but I guess we'll see once the monitors run how all that goes. But yeah, I got them all bolted in, and the car sounds great. I'll open the garage up here and you can have a listen. Okay, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to hear it, obviously, through a video, but at least we'll give it a shot. The car is, I have a map in it, but nothing too crazy, and everything else is stock, except I have the eBay headers, of course. I have the Megan Racing axle back muffler, and then the stock mid pipe, and it sounds great. I mean, the throttle response is awesome. You know, you don't get a lot of rasp, but it makes a huge difference in the overall sound and the way the car feels when you're driving it. Yeah, I'm not sure how much you hear that, but you know, in my honest opinion, I think the headers are great. You know, a great addition to the car. Definitely a lot more top end. Definitely sounds a lot cooler. The only thing I wish I could do was give you guys, you know, a definite answer on whether or not they fit. That was kind of my whole point behind this, because you know, before I bought them, I was on the forums and people were saying it's hit or miss, and that's exactly what I came up with. You know, if you have the patience or you know the time to put into it, the cheaper ones do work if you find the right set. You know, but is from my experience, stay away from the Manzos altogether. You know, two sets, two different fit problems. You know, one the collector, the other one would be actually where it mounts to the head. It's just not worth it, you know, in my opinion. But there are a few other brands available. I got lucky. The second ones that I bought fit right on. And I am going to post and upload that install video. I have to edit out some of the cuss words, but that'll be up shortly. You know, if you want a little walkthrough on how to put them on, I did make one while I was doing that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say is, you know, if you're looking for a good, cheap upgrade to make your car sound better and a little bit more top end, you know, seems to breathe a little bit better, I would definitely go for it. Just, you know, be selective on the ones you buy, and hope that helps.